Jeans Day starts again on Friday. You need $1 in order to wear jeans. That money goes towards the senior class and the student council, so make sure you bring your dollar. Don't come jeans if you don't have your dollar. You need to get a sticker from your teacher. It goes on your thigh, shows that you paid your dollar, and you can wear your jeans on Friday. Please remember that skinny jeans are not allowed. You need to have a little bit of room in your jeans. You need to be able to move around a little bit, and they can't have rips or tears in them either. So you need to make sure that your jeans are appropriate. You still wear your uniform shirts and you wear your jeans. Okay, that's announcement number one. The second one is a safety issue. I've been watching our kids back and forth, and I stand out inside in the mornings and I watch you as you come to school. Please cross the road in the crosswalk. I know it's easy to get out of your car and then come down the driveway, walk across to the driveway, but if that's where cars are turning, they might not see you, and we would feel horrible if anything were to ever happen to any of our precious children. So please always cross the road in the crosswalk where the white lines are, okay? So either down at the other end on the other side of the driveway or right in the middle. Always cross in the crosswalk, okay?
Middle school, we have a guest speaker for you today. His name is Thomas Redman. If you Google homeless teacher, just those two words, homeless teacher, you'll come up with Thomas Redman. He's not homeless, but he's made an interesting choice to, the story that he's going to share with you, he's made a choice in how to minister to some of the people that God loves very much and who often get overlooked. So I'm going to give it to Mr. Redman.
Hey everybody. Okay, first, does anybody know my story? Okay, well if you don't, I'm going to tell you really quick so you know why I'm talking to you. I've been a teacher for 3 years. Prior to that, I was a Navy officer. And last year I taught middle school intensive reading, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And I had a great class. They were awesome. I wanted to find a way to have them read over the summer. Well, unfortunately, some of the kids I teach are what we call impoverished, which means they have a challenge, they have a problem. They don't have enough money for food, they don't have windows in their trailers, that type of thing. So how do I keep somebody that's in that situation reading over the summer? As a teacher, that was very difficult for me to think of a way to have them reading so they don't lose skills and they practice over the summer. You know, typical teacher. So I decided I would go homeless and put it on Facebook and have my students follow what happens to me. It started out as a summer reading program, but after the second day, the media got a hold of it, social media got a hold of it. We had like 5,600 likes in a couple of days. We had 120,000 people looking at what was happening to me. It changed my life forever, and that's why I'm here talking to you today. This is the teacher part. I'm not going to read all this stuff to you. I'm not going to give you a lesson today, because that's not what I'm here for. There's two words we want to talk about, though, and excuse me with the mic, I'm sorry. There's two words we want to talk about. Empathy is the first one. I want you to remember empathy. What empathy is when you feel what another person feels. What's your name? Anthony. I'm going to use you for an example. Is that okay, Anthony? Okay, let's say, unfortunately, Anthony has a dog that dies. To have empathy for Anthony, you had to have gone through it where you lost a dog and understand it and really feel what Anthony feels. You have to almost own his problem and truly feel it. That's empathy. Next slide, please. What's sympathy? Sympathy is where you feel sorry for somebody. So let's say Anthony's dog dies, and you've never had a dog that died, and you really, although you know it kind of stinks, you really can't relate. You really have never had something like that happen to you. So you sympathize. You go, oh, I'm sorry, Anthony, but do you really own the problem? Do you really feel it? Next slide. Here's how you make things better, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. Okay, let's see. Who wants to win a toothbrush and toothpaste? It was a joke, okay? Nobody wants, okay, everybody has a toothbrush and toothpaste, but you know what? To a homeless person, this is gold. That's what I found out while I was gone. I left Lake Eola with nothing but my ID card. Not 1 cent, not a place to sleep. In case you don't know it, it's illegal to sleep outside. You'll get arrested. I was a teacher. I was worried about losing my teaching license, so I was never safe. Because there's no legal place to sleep if you don't have a home. So this is gold when you're homeless. Who wants to win a t-shirt? Another joke. I'm not giving away t-shirts or toothpaste. My point is, to a homeless person, a brand new shirt is gold. Who wants to win a cool sticker? This is going to be given. No, I'm kidding. This means Team A-OK. What does that mean? A-OK? That means acts of kindness. That means that everybody is A-OK. All right, here we go. Now, I'll bet, well, this is good for Jean's Day, right? Who would want to win this? All right, well, that's not enough. So let's say, who would want to win this? Am I getting your attention now? Okay. Look at this $10 bill. Everybody wants this $10 bill. Put your hands down. I am going to give it to somebody. Put your hands down, please. Everybody wants this $10 bill. Hold on a minute. Who wants the $10 bill now? Oh, it's about the same number. Okay, wait a minute. Who wants the $10 bill? It's still the same number of hands. Okay, here's what I'm trying to point out to you. Put your hands down, please. When the $10 bill was pretty, like we're dressed today, everybody wanted it. It was worth the same as it was when it was dirty and crumpled up and had problems and had been stomped on. Every person is worth the same, whether they're dressed the way we're dressed, or whether they're stinky, haven't had a shower in 4 days. Next slide. Okay, what's it like to be homeless? I was a teacher, and I hate to admit this, but these are the places I stole from. Embassy Suites, Golden Corral, Holiday Inn, Radisson. Those places, I got so hungry and didn't have any money, I went in, even though my teaching license was on the line, and I ate without paying. Now, I went back and paid after my homeless experience was over, as a Christian would. I'm not advocating stealing, but I'll tell you, this is what I want you to think about. Have you been hungry? Raise your hand if you've been really hungry sometime. Okay, now what I want you to do is the next time you're that hungry, wait 12 more hours. Then I want you to see what it's like when your survival mode kicks in. When you'll eat things you wouldn't think of eating normally. Your mom would say, here, have some grits. And you may or may not like grits. But here, have some grits. And you go, ugh. Well, let me tell you, 12 hours later, them grits are looking good. You're hungry. Your body wants food. So that's why I did this. It's not bragging. Next slide, please. That's me. Do you see the socks on my arms? That's so the mosquitoes don't bite me too bad. That's me living in a homeless camp. You notice the socks are on my arms. I'm all bundled up. Do I look really comfy? Because I was right between that air conditioner and that wall. There's my bed. It's not comfortable when you're 53 years old and you're on the concrete and nobody cares. Next slide. Where did I shower? I had to go hide in a hotel in a bathroom and try to get under a sink. It's called getting a bird bath. Okay? That's literally me taking a shower, but it's not a shower because you don't really get clean. Next slide. You can't use the restroom. I was homeless downtown, and there's only 2 places you were safe. That was in the public library. You were allowed to go in there. But if you went into a business and you stunk and hadn't had a shower for 3 days, nobody wanted you in their business. This is where I found some recreation. That little golf ball noodle over there I bounced when I had to walk long distances. By the way, I walked an average of 12 miles a day. My shoes were wore out in 30 days. They had to be kept together by plastic bags. That's me at Lake Eola. So basically, except for the public library and the park, I didn't have any entertainment the whole time I was homeless. Next. What really happened, I had so many blisters on my feet. I had shin splints. I lost 23 pounds in 30 days. I had bed bugs, mosquito bites, from sleeping outside, from sleeping in the shelters, from sleeping in the woods. I was angry. You know why? Nobody cared. Next slide. What is this? That's A-okay. Everybody is A-okay. Here's why I came to see you today. The next time you see somebody that's on the side of the road with a sign, don't feel sorry for them. As a Christian, who would like to tell me what you're supposed to do when you see those? What is your name? Yes, come on up. Hurry up, hurry up. Both of you. What's your name?
Skylar.
Skylar. Well, what should you do when you see somebody that's got a sign and they're stinky and they're asking for money? What do you think you should do?
Well, I would give them money so they can go buy something to eat and go get clothes.
Very good. That's something nice. What would you do, honey?
Give them food.
Give them food. You know what I'm here to tell you today? I'm here to tell you that there's nothing that you can give them more important than this. What's your name? And when they tell you their name, try to understand, try to empathize, try to have empathy, try to feel what they feel. Don't judge them. Christ says we don't judge. So the next time you see one of those people that you would normally be scared of, I want you to try to, with empathy, feel what they feel. Try to relate to something they tell you. Ask them their name, because they're people. And that's what this means. Team A-OK means everybody is A-OK. That's what it means. So, we don't want to feel sorry for somebody and say, oh, I'm sorry. Even if we kind of really feel sorry, that's not enough. As Christians, as good community members, you need to empathize with that person, because the last thing I want to tell you is empathy brings people, communities, churches, and schools together. Sympathy drives them apart. If you feel sorry for somebody and don't understand them, you don't get close to them. If you understand their problems and try to truly help them, you will. Now, anybody have any questions about what happened to me while I was homeless? Yes. Yes. I went homeless because my wife is in charge of all the food pantries for Second Harvest, and her and I feed the homeless camps and have been doing so for 2 years as our ministry, okay? And so I went homeless because I wanted to teach my students empathy and have them follow what I put on Facebook so they would read over the summer, because as I told you, my students are very impoverished. They don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of opportunities. And to keep them interested, I had to do something kind of extreme. Yes?
How would you sleep if it's so long? How are you going to sleep if it's so
Well,
long?
that's the problem. See, people don't even really realize a lot of the things about being homeless. Some people, some people think that everybody that's homeless wants to be there. Well, I have to tell you that I never met any one person that said, I want to wake up on the concrete. There's many veterans out there. I met families that lived in the woods. And everybody's only a step away from that happening. One tragedy, one medical tragedy, one disaster. Don't think you're not. Because all the people on the streets didn't think they were, and they're not all the ones you see hanging downtown begging for money. There's all kinds of responses. There's homeless camps all around where you're sitting right now in the woods. There are families where the kids are being picked up and taken to school every day by the county. You may not realize that, but in Orange County we have 7,200 students that are homeless this year. 7,000! There's only 100 in here. Multiply that times what? Math whizzes. Who's my math whiz? Come on! That's an easy one. Multiple of 10, anyway. You guys get it. Any other questions? Yes? Well, yeah, we multiplied them, but we were supposed to divide them. That's okay. Yes, what's your question? Last one, because it's time for me to be off of here. Yes? Well, most don't have computers, but most of my kids have phones. How many of you guys have smartphones? See, it's the same there. So, yeah, they have access. They can either go to the library, some of them did, but they watch, believe me. Anything else? Thank you so much, Doctor. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Boys and girls, I just wanted to reiterate the difference between sympathy and empathy. When you have empathy, it's because you attach your feelings to their feelings. You feel what they are feeling. And that's what Mr. Rickman wanted us to understand, is that it's not just enough to throw money at somebody. You need to ask them what their name is. You need to remember that they are a person and that they have value in the eyes of God. And that, but I do want to, because you are children, I want to give you one little warning. Go with your mom or your dad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we want you to be safe. So if you're going to help a person who is homeless, a person who is needy, I would want you to go with your mom or dad, not by yourself, okay? Because we want you to always be safe. Hang on just a minute, sweetheart. So we're going to remember that they are people, and that they have needs just like we do. I do know that there was at the Winn-Dixie right down here at University and Goldenrod the other day, there was a mom and a dad and 2 children and a baby in a stroller with a little sign that said, "We're homeless, please help us." And it breaks your heart to see people in such need, but it is very true. There are a lot of people around us that are very needy. This brings us to a point that I want to make before we're dismissed. We do have an organization that feeds and cares for the homeless that we work with. And if you were here last year, you remember that we did have a food drive as well as a health and beauty aids that we collected. Shampoo and soap and washcloths and toothbrushes and toothpaste and the kind of things that Mr. Redmond reminded us were those are gold when you have that, you don't have that. A lot of the families that are homeless, they have food stamps, so sometimes they're able to purchase food. But unfortunately with food stamps, you can't buy shampoo and you can't buy laundry soap. and you can't buy soap, and you can't buy those other things, you can only buy food. Food is good, you need food, everybody's gotta have food, but when you're really dirty and stinky and smelly and your clothes are rotten, and you need to wash up too. So we want to collect those health and beauty aids. So this is going to be our push for the next 6 weeks. We will be gathering through your teachers, you will be gathering health and beauty aids as well as canned products. Don't forget food products that contain meat as well. We need protein things, not just vegetables and fruit, but we also need things like ravioli and lasagna and tuna fish and the canned chicken and things that families need to be able to have protein as well. So this is, we will be giving you a flyer that you can take home to your mom and dad, but we will also want to help you to understand